Probably started too soon. Champlain Towers model version 2 box, blah, blah, blah. Whoa, look at those mega amount of views. 324. Why? Oh, well, YouTube started me off correctly. And then they flatlined me. They just threw me flatlined. See that? Flatlined. They flatlined it within days. 3 days, I think it was. All right, so August 25th, 2021, I put that video out. And it's called Champlain Towers Model Version 2. Let's go over to Champlain Towers Model Version 2. Let's jump up at the 429 mark. And this video has my treasures in it, so I think I'll make it private after this. So this one will be made private by me, not by YouTube. Unless I can't make it private. I haven't tried it yet. YouTube is quite interesting on what they throw into private on me, and I can't get it out. I wonder if I can make a video private without any issues. Let's go from there. So watch my comment in the next few seconds. Watch where I go in this video. This won't be at 429. That's right thereabouts. Because I've got to remove one defective part. I kept inverting. I invert a lot. In my brain, I'm saying one thing, and I might be pointing my hand somewhere else. So I have to fix something at 30 minutes in here, where I'm looking on the plans. I'm showing you something on the plans here. So right about in a thumbnail, I'm showing you K and L, when I want to be showing you M and L in that inverted order. But I inverted in there. I had my brain looking down the ramp, and then it transposed it up here as I'm looking down the ramp again. So it's about 1 minute of defect there that I have to correct. Another one was a troll in there. I left that in the comments below. I say 2'9", 2'9", and no one calls me out on it, but it's a small video. It's only 324 views. But I wanted someone to say, stop saying 2'9", it's 2'6", and I'm like, thank you. Yes, now you're catching on. So sometimes I do put a defect in there, as I told you yesterday. I like doing things, breadcrumbs, to get you to catch it. If I keep saying 2'9", and no one's catching on, mind you, it's only 324 people that watch this, then I must have lost you that it should be 2'6". So it helps me trigger what's there. Now, watch my 4029 in this. I thought maybe I'll just make it private and not edit it out, because I might have to use this later, right? And you guys might want to, I might post it later. So, because I'm going to privatize it. Oh, I think I can do it here now. I think I can change the settings over there now. Let me try that in a moment, and we'll see if it works. All right, so I'm pointing at the deck here. I'll give you some tips and hints. So when the deck goes into compression, the tile should spring up, right? Should come off. Well, this is compression. This is a ramp down, and that's a ramp down. And this is a bend over, if you will. Like this went ramp down, so that was more rigid there. It bent over and ejected some tiles were ejected down here. Look at this. This is a chair like this. So it could be the air pressure that blew them over. For example, people talk about that one room where everyone talks about the furniture in the room being moved around or something like that. Well, there is some air pressure in this building at this point as it's got some issues going on coming down. And I pointed that out in one of the videos, saying the doorway air could have came behind there. It's a box. It's not a what did somebody say it was? They thought it was something. I forget what it was, but the owner of the apartment, the lady on Twitter, if you find her, you can find her there. She states that it's just an empty box. There's nothing special there, and the other one didn't, because they were like, the other one didn't move. She said they're empty boxes. They were just moving in. And so it could be anything from a strong gust of wind from the underside doorway pushing that box over. But I did a video on that. It was pretty in depth. I don't know where that one is now. It talks about the angle of incidence of the ejection of the materials off the ceiling. And I pause it and I show how it's coming this way, certain angle, and you can start extrapolating from there. But I don't know where that video is. I've tried to recycle it a few times now. So that's what it looks like when it just broke free of the control joint. See it? Nice and clean. There's a car under here that stopped. It became a rest, right? Right here, this, there's the plan of boxes there, and look at this one. It's right about where it would have been up here. What are the odds of it flipping over or sliding right back to its original position if this side went down first? So the lever would be back here at this, because some people theorize, I think the Miami Herald, one of them, is it released from the wall. So then the hinge point is back here. Well, if the hinge point is there and it's rotating from here downwards, would not the punch shearings take place a lot faster? And why is it so clean from here to here? Oh, wait a minute. Wouldn't it be a rotation from here to here? These are in line. Oh, but this wall is there. Oh, right. So this has a wall, continuous shelf, and it presents like this even when the building's collapsing, that it won't break free. Okay, so we can't get a rotation back here unless we start it somehow magically. Just, the strength goes right up to here and stops, but the forces rotate here. Why pick on the toughest part of the structure when you could pick on the weakest part, which would be multiple places over there at the entrance, at the where the samples were? Keep in mind the samples over there at the, I think I have to put up another tab, another thing for that. Where they took the samples at M, that's out further than the deck. It's significantly out further than the deck transfer going up to the number 111 room. It's out, I don't know, is that 4 feet, 6 feet away from it? It just begs to want to know, why did he sample that spot? We don't have clear photographs, but he, specified, or someone specified, to take a sample at that spot. It was very clear, that spot, expose that one, and the other one also. What are the odds of nailing those, unless you have some serious concerns about those two spots? And then you're like, you know what, I had enough. These samples are good. Those two samples, that's enough. And although he did ask for more samples in other places around the structure, and they seem to be more solid cord. But this structure out here just begs all types of deflection and separations. Now watch how magical I am with this. Now I hate being right. When I'm right, I say, okay, now I've got to try to debunk myself even stronger. But watch what I say here. There's no vehicles, driving space, and so it's got the most drastic elevation change. And interesting so for you guys. This is one of mine. So I say interesting so. Listen to me. I'm going to point right there. Watch, right where we got issues. Watch. Most telling directions of what's going on. I'm not giving it all today because I'm already 40 minutes to a video, I think. Yeah, I was 40 into it. All right, let's back it up again so you can hear that again. Oh, another 5 seconds. Yep, another 5 seconds. And interesting so for you guys. This is one of my telling. See, I'm talking in the background here so you guys don't think I did any editing. Well, I didn't, but here we go. You can find. Maybe I'll leave the video up. Here we go. And interesting so for you guys. This is one of my most telling directions of what's going on. I'm not giving it all today. I'm already 40 minutes to a video, I think. And isn't that something? So I knew that has been on my mind for some time. And sorry about the mic noise. And I posted that August 25th, 2021. That's well before I released, 324 views. That's well before I released. And a few people, I love your videos, both enlightening and entertaining. A few people commented, Tom, looking forward to this, right? Based on timeline, the cell phone, watched your many videos. The trigger, said, right? Oh my God, trying to keep up with the instructor while the class is having fun. Okay, so they must have been a live chat. Why didn't they have construction joints centered on columns? Let's see. Anyway, more comments. But I posted that, 24 comments. the post that on August 25th, 2021, and I nailed this. So this is one of my most telling reveals. And I'm not ready for that yet. But there's the planar box and the other planar box and the long planar box. Very interesting. This planar box tells so much. This is the path of the. Let me pause it there. So I just wanted to give you my little fun showing that August 25th I was on top of this. Let me play it one more time for you. So it's got the most drastic elevation change. And interesting stuff for you guys. This is one of my most telling directions of how. Let me back that up again. It's kind of skipped, didn't it? Kind of weird. Telling directions of what's going on. I'm not giving it all today. No, it didn't skip. It just must have a buffer issue. Directions of how. Going back again. I just want to. Most telling directions of what's going on. I'm not giving it all today. I'm already 40 minutes to a video, I think. But I want you to see that August 25th, I post this video on my other channel there, and yeah, so there it is called again right there. Yeah, now, again, I like to try to debunk myself once I see some supporting evidence. I'm like, all right, how can I debunk myself now to get the same failure? Let me give you the short version of this deck collapse. Contrary to what ACI states that you basically use two panels to do your judgment on your structure here, as long as that rebar connects from one panel to the next panel, you need to make it all integral. You can't just pull down one panel or two panels and go, you know what, this is where I did my calculations from, so nope. When this goes down, it can only be these two panels. That steel is integral to the next part of that slab. When it goes across a pier head, a column head, hold on, let me show you that. When it goes across a column head, you can't call it free. So I'm gonna do a column head here, okay? I'm gonna do a little bit of a pier cap here, and these are just the pressure-induced footings, right? Just piers. So there's that. Now let's put the slab on top. Let me change the color. Let me grab a green. Okay, good. That works for me. And let me do this. So I'm gonna put a cap here. So I did this in another video for you guys, but let's do this, right? And let's do this one. I've done this a few times, but it doesn't seem to be working as far as understanding. All right, so there's no joint here. These are connected via a piece of reinforcement going across, or multiple pieces, plus the rabbit ears, right? The rabbit ears. I think I call these roach antennas once they start sticking up. And I say the direction of these will tell you what's going on, because I showed that in a slow motion video where I showed how I push it off and how the steel tells you what's going on. I can't edit like I used to edit, so I just don't have the time for it. So look, I'll link it down below, showing the slow motion where I talk about the deflection in the deck and how the roach antennas, I call them. These are the rabbit ears. These would be roach antennas. How they stick up, little roach antennas, the little things off their head, and how they stick up parallel to the column. And if they fall to one side, it tells you the direction of the collapse. They fall to this side, tells you the direction, because rebar doesn't like to bend back in place after it's made a deformation. It's not going to do it on its own. It's not going to be spring related. Get out of the way, whatever the hell that is. All right, so sorry guys for that being in the way. Let's just move it over. It looks like I can't. Okay, escape. All right, so then just look at this. So this is this position. It's driving me crazy. Let's do that. So don't save. And let's do it again. So a quick version of it again is here's the head. Well, let's do the head. and we'll keep that. And then we'll do the reinforcement. So we see the roach antennas like this, and then you see, don't forget the slab with the topping slab like that leaning. So under here is probably some concrete cover that's bent like that from the structural slab, and then probably concrete like this, like that. Where this would be. Let's get rid of that. Let's do that. Looks like that. Okay, that's just steel. And probably broke that off, raised this up. That's why you see that covering slab like that. And this is probably on the ground. There's probably some fractured material here too, but this is what you see. And that's around those, remember, roach antennas compared to rabbit ears. Rabbit ears are the shear head connectors. And one is the deck reinforcement and critical shear zone reinforcement. That would be this steel here. And this would be tying the deck into the column, making it stationary, if you will. Let's go with, there's no other steel that ties into it as far as I know. I didn't really notice anything like that. It didn't look like it was shiny, ripped off. Perhaps they did tie steel to it. You think they would have to, but, you know, this guy seems to do what they want to do. Interesting, some of it is, you'll see a couple of them are missing these heads. So what happens is this as it goes down, the steel is engaged. Now, contrary to Miami Herald and some of the steel not working, it's engaged. As the deck goes down, it's grabbing it. And if you grab this, you can imagine this concrete cover here. It spalls it, ejects it off. Like that, ejects it off. And we see an exposed head. And then it grinds the surfaces to some degree. Some of them you see, I think there's like one or two of them that are pretty much still in 90 position. Now that means it just somehow fractured it and allowed it, you know, it broke it free. It released itself, if you will. Let's go to this is what I'm driving at. These guys here matter because it means this side was engaged still, and this side is the one that released. So I did a video something like this where I showed the rebar like that, trying to get you to understand it. Now that's inside the concrete, so this was inside there and it's bonded. But when the deck went down, when this side deflected on this side, it just pulled itself out of here because it's such a strong position, or a weak position. Strong as in maybe this reinforcement here. I'm going to move it over. Was able to stop it from shifting and allow this to pull out. Now I do tons of concrete rebar pull-out tests, and you don't get that. You don't get that slippage like that unless you've got some really soft concrete or, you know, a rust jacking that took place that will allow it to pull out. But sometimes that rust will actually engage it even more. So as it swells and it interlocks, it's like a shim as you're trying to pull it out, and you'll get you're doing your rebar test. You'll get elevated and low and then elevated. You'll get these cycles of resistance that are high and low in like a graph format, and that just means you're running into wedge material that you're breaking through. A little bit of wedge, get some resistance, and then release. Ultimately, what you want to see is just ultimate failure. It just snaps. You just load it, and all of a sudden it snaps, it cracks, and you're released. Now that's your great bonding on the one side you're testing, pulling from. That means that rebar or epoxy, whatever you put in there, is got great engagement. No cone, no blowout took place. It just snapped the reinforcement, which is great. You get that around whatever tons you get, 4 tons, whatever you come up with. I know I said 4 tons. What was I going to say here? So this, in this case, it just slid out. So this would tell us what? That this side, it's either this side is deflecting, which means that it's becoming loose, and this is jammed there, and it's starting to pull it out, which means only one thing, that this side is weak and grabbing, and this side is not, which is very interesting. If they cast it at the same time, why is that side weak? Why is this side weak? Why? So they could be the cover, the amount of cover they're allowed to do it. But I'll tell you guys that if you get about 3/4 wrap around rebar, it'll still have a hell of a bite on it still. Hell of a bite. So it's not for free that you just take off the top of it, if you will, and you're like, it's gonna, it'll just break apart. But with deflection, it would break apart. You'd have to know all this stuff up here too, what it looked like, and we don't have imagery of that. But the deflection and this pulling out tells me that there's a very weak connection here. That's the bias data I have. Don't say, as you look at the shear heads and you see those roach antennas up. Further supporting it would be this one here. I've got multiple reasons. One of them is the under here where I called it a strong back, and maybe the first week of videos I said, that's very, very interesting, this little strong back detail here. How the deck, when it collapsed, this showed itself as being still integral, making me think that there was no deflection over here on this side, that this actually cantilevered out as this, and it's still in a cantilever mode to a little bit, to some degree. And as it went down, then it came to rest on it again. I think it's like a new level became, but there's a little dip there. And then I transpose that dip back over to here, and then I follow a crack, and it goes back. Let's do that. Let's do that a little final time here. I think I'll do it here, and then I'll let this video post. And you guys, remember, yeah, I'm nailing an image that shows up, but most was it post hoc, procto hoc. It means just because of one thing doesn't mean it's tied to another. You hear a big bang, you see somebody fall down, and you say, oh my gosh, they just got, you say big bang like a gunshot. And you see somebody fall down, you're like, the person's just been shot. You heard a big bang, the person could have slipped, and when you looked up, you just happened to time it to see that. It's, don't always try to find something that, always tell yourself they're not related. They're not related when you see something, not related. And then see how you can make it happen, not related. And if you can, then okay, well, it's a possibility. But there's no way to make it not related, then it's related. Now, in this case, I still leave open nefarious means. That's my one of my go-tos in here for playing devil's advocate. You got to leave open nefarious. It's very. I've got a few points on that, but this box, for example, this box rolled over. This box didn't roll to the wall; it rolled down over here. So people that say they just sheared from the wall and fell down, why are these boxes here? Why are they there? It fell down, hinging from this column here, and then as it stopped, because that's the way the people that believes it broke there visualize it. It sheared from that wall, just magically, let go of the wall, released from the wall that's inside there too. And then did a push back against the wall as this rotated down, and then fractured here. Yeah, and then the boxes rolled back. Yeah, I don't have that. And the other thing was, before I forget, is that again, these are all integral. The entire deck is integral up to the expansion joint, control joint. So you can't separate. You can't make these into bays. You can't do it. They should be in a triangular array balanced. I don't care what ACI says about, you use two bays, through this failure, this is proof that you can't use two bays. You must consider it as a global, interacting, all-encompassing, acting as one, especially as you see the structure came down. If you tie it together, you have to assume that unless it can come to rest before the energy, unless it can come to rest and the energy comes to rest, before it starts pulling onto another part of the structure, then you have to assume that that energy will be snatched by the structure, like the, tug of war. So this goes down, it tugs at the structure. The structure resists, it comes to rest, the deck comes to rest, but the structure is now it's now been structurally weakened, especially at the face of the structure out there where we hear the near daughter, and she's a near herself, so I can't say near daughter. The daughter of 111, where she states she comes out the shower. Remember, the materials were ejecting in her face, she stated. Same thing at 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven is above 6-Eleven. 6-Eleven is where the lady got out. 7-Eleven is where you see the materials ejecting at the camera. 6-Eleven has woken up now. Her amygdala has told her that the reaction is over there at the sliding door. She thinks it's a tide or strong winds or whatever. Notices the gap, taking on data, and she takes quite some time to leave. Figure she's not a fast mover. I mean, she blew out candles and everything else, right? So it was quite some time that passed before the tug of war was lost and identified itself as, in the video, as the building above Cassandra Bilodeau Stratton's location, the wall system. So this is not, as ACI would tell you, and I had to argue that ACI, should they not be, ACI still exists today. This building followed ACI standards. How come ACI is not being sued? How come they're not being sued? Because ACI is also part of this investigation. And yet they're not being also sued in this case. Because ACI said that the architect can do his own inspection, if I'm right, in 1979. ACI said that it didn't say third party, it said the architect, right? ACI states that the system, well, no, it does not state that you can do that. But it states you can use 2 panels, but it didn't state, ACI said you can use their own, the Fox Garden Hen House can do the inspection. That's what I'm driving at. How come ACI doesn't change that? Stop the Fox Garden Hen House. Now, it's kind of weird. It would be like me, certifying my own work. Yeah, but they do allow that. And that's an issue, isn't it? But it's cost related. Even homeowners can do their own work and do their own self-certification of work. You need that third party, though. We really need to get involved with third parties, and they need to be reasonable. All right, multiple fractures on the deck. And here's a fracture here, for example. This identifies as open, O-P-E-N, open. And you can see the stair-step version of it as it works its way over to here. And this would indicate that when a strain happened, remember it pulls across the head a bit. When it pulls across the head a bit, it strains here. This is where the reinforcement that went across there released and allowed some opening. Or we have a car under there that was able to create a crown here. I can't see with the depth this way. So it's like the drainage system that appears to be up. And this tile also is rotated. All this stuff counts, though. Rabbit ears. Let's go. Let me end it with my version of this thing here. We go again. Where I call that spot where the photographs show. Driving space. And so it's got the most drastic elevation change. And interesting stuff for you guys. This is one of my most telling directions of what's going on. I'm not giving it all today. Okay, so that's where I called our starting point back in August of 25th, 2021. But remember, I've been shadow banned. I've been clipped. The video, this video recommendations come from my own videos. So it's a circle jerk, and crazy stuff, that they recommend. But yet, if you look at that stupid lock video I put up from one guy I met in a store one day, didn't know how to program, and I threw it there. Till this day, if you look up quick-set lock, how to set the quick-set lock, that darn video still comes up. On my side, I see the algorithms. It's 100%. They know exactly it's a quick-set lock. So 100% they know it's Champlain Towers. They tie back to my own videos on it, but they do not tie to any other videos, any other public videos. Ever since I did the NIST destruction of evidence video, I went from, tens of thousands of views, within 2-3 days to 324 on multiple channels. So they shut my whole content down. All right, and yet my data was freaking beautiful. Look at that. It's sound as can be. We had no evidence of a photograph existing by that time. I didn't have it till when I did that video. Well, till one of you guys told me, look at it. No, till I did the video, because you guys said, look at Josh's video. Tell me what you think of his images. And I was like, And then 3-4 of you wrote me, and I was like, all right, I'll go look. And then I did the video, so that was only a week ago. It's very interesting that it's right where I call it out, August 25th, 2021. But I call it out again 9 months, 3 months, so 3 months, August, September, October, November, December. Wow, that's 9 months ago. Okay, practically 8 months ago. All right, take care. Love you, bye.